Hi, Dr. Starnes. I decided to do my media literacy project in a kind of Q&A style. So the question that you give, I'm going to say, and then I'm going to just answer the question in the way that I've written it down mainly. I have notes, and then I'm going to build up off those. So yeah, here we go. How would you describe your media consumption before the semester? My media consumption was very passive. I didn't really think about what I was consuming. Whether those things were memes or YouTube videos or articles or anything like that, I wasn't really thinking about what I was consuming. I was kind of just consuming it because it was there, or I thought it was funny or interesting or something like that. I didn't think about the audience or the purpose or anything like that. I just thought, oh, this is neat. Let me look at it. Let me consume it. How would you describe your media production before the semester? The only media I would really produce are just poems and short stories that I have not published. I used to have a WordPress back in that I started back in 2014, but that was just full of angsty teenager poetry that was terrible, and I want no one to ever find that. And I kept up with that till around 2016, 2017. But aside from that, I didn't really create much. I didn't produce anything. I really have not much experience with that. I used to make videos with some friends of mine, but again, that was a long time ago. But even then, those were not to the extent that I did in this semester. Those were much different than what I'm doing now. What media consumption sites were you most active with before the semester? I was definitely most active with YouTube, Twitter, and Reddit. Those were my go-tos. YouTube I use as my television basically. I don't really watch a lot of TV, so it was my television, whether for entertainment or education. I use Twitter mainly for memes and to catch up and stay in the know with bands and artists that I like, whether poets or writers or something like that who I enjoy. And I use Reddit a lot for news and for memes. I also use Twitter for news, but that's more breaking news. I don't really read any articles that much from Twitter because a lot of them are either really, really biased or kind of unreliable. So when I want to go find something that's a little more reliable or just off a regular source, I either go to Google or I go to Reddit, where someone's keeping track of all these different things. They got a ton of different articles through threads and things of that nature. What media production sites were you most active with before the semester? Like I said, I wasn't really active on a lot of media production, so definitely not on many sites. Like I said, I've made YouTube videos before, but even then, not to this extent. And my WordPress account was the main thing I had, but that was just a lot of terrible poetry that I hope no one finds, because I forgot the password and I'm never giving the link out. So yeah, nothing really, honestly. How did your media consumption change during the semester? I started thinking more about the types of media I was consuming and the ways I was consuming it, and yes, how I was consuming it. I started thinking more about the audience and the purpose of things. I started thinking more about the algorithm that this article or this meme or this whatever showed up in my feed, and I started thinking, okay, why did I get this? What audience are they trying to appeal to here to where I received this thing? Even if it wasn't something I wasn't that interested in, even if it was I don't know, some kind of puppy video. I don't watch a lot of those, but it fell into my Twitter feed or my Facebook feed or something like that, and I would think okay, what in the algorithm is saying okay, you enjoy a lot of this, so we're going to show you some of these, or you enjoy these kinds of ads, so we're going to show you this, or you Google search this, so we're going to show you this. I started thinking more of why we're shown the content that we're shown, rather than just kind of blindly going, oh, hey, that's cool. That's definitely not because I Googled something and the cookies stayed on this certain website or something. I got smarter with it. I knew certain things like that, but I didn't think a lot about it. It didn't concern me much. I didn't care all that much. But now, because of the class, I have come to care a bit more about it. What did you learn about your media consumption this semester? I learned that my media consumption really doesn't just affect me. It affects the people around me also, and the people on my feeds. Memes are always great. Everyone loves a good meme, but some memes and videos and articles can actually very much offend people. And while I don't necessarily care that much about offending people, I always found internet arguments to be very tedious and stupid. So I try not to engage with them, and I try to avoid engaging with them. So even if I see something that I agree with, but it's like political or religious or something like that, I tend to ignore it usually, just because I'm friends with a lot of people on like Facebook or Twitter. And it's not that I'm doing it so they don't get mad at me. I'm doing it so we don't have to talk back and forth on a Facebook thread that doesn't provide any sort of civil discourse. It just is us shouting into a void, pretty much. Like, it's just pointless, I think. And I just think it's dumb. So I try to avoid those. If you want to argue with me in person, not over the internet. What led to the changes in your media consumption this semester? The changes in my media consumption came from having to find media for the media journal with Rob and Reed and having something interesting to talk about. I gave up YouTube for Lent, so that was kind of a bad idea in a class where I had to consume a lot of media, since that's where I got a lot of my media. But I had to like scroll through like Facebook and Twitter a lot for my memes and for my articles and things like that. So finding good content that I really was passionate about and wanted to talk about was kind of hard, because a lot of it I was just like, okay, here's something that I found that is slightly interesting, so I guess I'll talk about it. But as you can see, I'm sure in some of the media journals you notice that this isn't like the most interesting thing in the world. So I don't know. It changed by me having to find different things that I wasn't necessarily passionate about, but could find the passion for. And not only that, but I kept analyzing the different pieces of content I would find differently. So the memes I would think differently about than like articles, and the articles I would think about than videos and things like that. I know that's kind of what you're supposed to do, but I just kind of overdid it, I think. I overthought it. What media consumption sites were you most active with during the semester? Twitter, mainly. Facebook, a little bit, but mainly Twitter. That was where I got most of my content. Before Lent, it was also YouTube, and after Lent, YouTube, but during Lent, I mainly just had Twitter. And so for the whole semester, I've just mainly had Twitter. And that's where I got most of my memes and articles and stuff like that. Google also provided a little bit, but that's not really, I mean, I guess that counts, but not really. But I got a lot of stuff from Google because now they have all those articles at the bottom of your screen when you're on your phone. So, yeah. What struggles did you encounter as you worked to be a more active consumer of media? I think I touched on this already, but I think a problem with me was not over-analyzing the media, especially articles. It's hard to read something and not immediately try to find the buzzwords for like bias or emotion or opinion or something like that. Especially because of this class where we're kind of like trying to find those things. So like looking through articles and it's like, okay, I want to find how this is conservative bias or how this is liberal bias or something. Like, it was kind of hard to shut my brain off from that and just be like, no, dude, just read the article. So yeah, things like that. What media consumption sites are you most active with now? Twitter and YouTube. I make YouTube content, and I am thinking about making Twitter content. I want to start a absurdist, satiric Twitter page, kind of like if you ever heard of @Dril, DRIL, or if you go to Clickhole, those types of things. I always found the dumb things that don't really have like a lot of meaning to them very funny. I'm not entirely sure why, but I think it's just the whole random aspect of it. You don't expect certain things, and when these things are shown to you, it's so absurd that you have to laugh almost as if it's uncomfortable. And I think that's really interesting, so I want to try and experiment with that myself, so I'm going to try that on Twitter. This is probably the answer to a later question, but I felt the need to work it in here. How would you describe your media consumption now? I would say it's about the same, but I think I analyze my media a bit more than I did before. How did your media production change during the semester? This is the hardest I've worked on any kind of media, I think, especially considering that I didn't really know how to edit. I asked to do a YouTube channel mainly because I wanted a challenge. I wanted to go ahead and I wanted a reason to review albums, because that is something I've always wanted to do ever since I started watching The Needle Drop or Cover Kill Nation or APTV or not APTV, ARTV. EQP TV, all those people that I put on the sidebar of my YouTube channel, New Note Reviews. I always wanted to like do stuff like those guys do, and this was like my excuse to do it was like I need to do this because it's a grade now, and so doing that I found was very rewarding in itself, and also I wanted, like I said, I wanted that challenge because I didn't know how to edit videos. I barely knew how to make videos. I am making this on my phone right now. All my videos were made on my phone. Like I didn't expect having to do things like that because my laptop is trash when it comes to video software. So yeah, that's why. And with the small amount of equipment that I had, I think the videos turned out okay. What did you learn about your media production this semester? I learned that it's very hard to create media, and I understand, especially a lot of the YouTube creators who say that they work very hard, and they kind of, some of them quit their day jobs to try and make YouTube a full-time career. And I'm like, what? Why? It's not like it takes up that much of your time. This takes up a lot of time. Writing scripts, taking notes, making sure you're not messing up, making sure you get the right takes, making sure that your lighting is okay, making sure there's nothing in the background, making sure there's no background noise, making sure that you look okay in the video, making sure you're centered at least almost perfect in the video, and then trying to edit the whole thing. It takes up a lot of time. I understand why a lot of them are like, wow, I really don't have time to do all this, and I totally get that. It's not an easy thing to do, and that's any content creator. I think it takes up a lot of your time. If you want to make good content, you have to put the time and the effort in there, and I think that I've definitely learned that because of this class. If you have to make good content, you have to put the time and the effort into it, and if you don't do that, your content is going to be mediocre. Even on my phone, I think I was able to make at least decent content with the things I was given, you know? Like, I don't know. I think it's enough. And you need to work hard for your content, or else your content is gonna suck. What media production sites were you most active with during the semester? YouTube, because I had to use it to learn how to make YouTube videos. What struggles did you encounter as you worked to be a media producer? I had to use my phone, and I had no prior editing experience. So using an editing software on my phone was pretty crazy, and because my laptop sucks when it comes to having software on it. I don't know, it's a very weird computer, and I'm not a fan of it, and I want to get a MacBook, but I don't have enough money for that, so saving up. How confident are you now in exploring new media production sites on your own? I think the fact that I barely had any idea what I was doing when I started my YouTube channel and was able to make at least decent content proves my confidence. I'm down to make and try anything, any kind of content. I love to create stuff, whether it's in writing or videos or any kind of art pieces or anything like that. I love to create stuff. It's fun. I think it's the best thing we could possibly do. And I just love to create content in any way, shape, or form, and I'm willing to do that however I can, whenever I can. So yeah, as for being confident when going on production sites, definitely, very confident. I'll do whatever. How would you describe your media production at the end of the semester? I'm still learning and getting better. I realized I need some money to try and build up my software, and like I said, I want to purchase a MacBook. Even a better Windows computer would be better than what I have to edit better and to get better software. So yeah, but I think it'd okay. How do you believe your media consumption will grow and change after this semester? I think I'll continue to consume the same kinds of media I consume now. It's just that my taste may change, and I've become a more active consumer. I can wholeheartedly say that because of this class. And I may focus on more things than memes. For example, this class, honestly, it made me want to get a subscription to the New York Times because they were selling it for like $1 a week, or a subscription for $1 a week. And I was like, that sounds awesome, like to be in the know, you know, to like engage with news. And I'll probably do that once I cancel my Netflix subscription because they are upping the price on Netflix again, and it's kind of ticking me off, and I'm going to cancel it. And I will exchange it for a New York Times subscription. What plans do you have for media production after this semester? Okay, so I plan to keep my YouTube channel going. I want to continue reviewing albums and growing a actual audience and doing a ton of stuff like that. That sounds amazing. That sounds like so much fun. It'd be a cool hobby to have. Even if I only have like a few thousand subscribers, I will take that. If like, as long as they're very engaging, I think that would be so fun. I also want to start a channel with a friend of mine that has poetry videos on it, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be my poetry that's read. I'm thinking also like classics, but when it comes to classics and stuff like that, I want there to be artistic visuals that go along with it, and they don't have to be necessarily my artistic visuals, but they can be a video someone made, they can be a drawing, a painting someone's doing in the moment, it can be an animation, whatever, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have things correlated with the poetry that's being read, and just, it would be like an art channel, art looking style thing. I think it'd be kind of neat. I don't really have the whole concept written down, but in my head it works out very well. Maybe in real life it might not, but in my head it works out very well. I'm also writing a collection of poems right now, and I hope to have that out in the fall. And I'm writing a bunch of short stories that I'm planning on sending off to get published. If they don't get published, I'm thinking of starting a blog where I can just kind of post them myself. And maybe people can critique them. That'd be kind of neat, and or steal them, you know, like people do. So, yeah, those are my plans. Thanks, Dr. Starnes. It's been a fun semester, and thank you for helping me get this thing off the ground. And it's been fun. It really has. You've been a great professor. I'll see you next semester as a grad student. Thank you for everything.